Hello, everyone, and welcome to DroneNation episode 13. We call this the SpinDown after party because we're going to have a couple people on who were there, and they could tell us firsthand about their experience. We have our Carlson from Arco Drone Solutions, and we have also the great Chris Hope coming on later in the show, and we're going to ask them all the questions, how was SpinDown, what happened there, and so on. So it's going to be a good show tonight. We going to have our investigative reporters on with us. So while we're waiting for them, then we'll hit a couple of the other news stories. I think it's like they wait for us to go off the air. Like a couple hours after DroneNation ended last week, DJI finally released the firmware update for the Smart Controller that allows it to work with the Mavic Air 2. So we're going to cover that a little bit. And there was a bunch of DJI rumors that came out last week from Drone DJ and High Kesteloo. So we'll go over those too. But in the meantime, I want to check in on my co-host here, Marcus Crawford. How are you tonight, Marcus?
Well, not too bad, Ron. I was out, speaking of the Smart Controller, I was out messing around with the Smart Controller today, and I did, of course, the update for the Fly app and the Mavic Air 2, and I'm having some issues, Ron. I tried it out the other day and had some problems, and then today I took it back out because I wanted to try it with the Mavic 2 Zoom as well. Problems with both the Go4 app and the Fly app locking up, screen freezing up, etc. So not good. I've got a video that I'll put together about that, and we'll see what happens. I think at this point, what I'll probably do is reset the controller back to factory specs, and then reload that latest update and see if that helps. And if not, then it'll be a call to DJI support, and it's got a 12-month warranty on it, so we'll just go from there.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, Mark. You waited so long for the update, whatever, and then to find out that you have a bad controller. That kind of stinks, but
it happens. That kind of stuff happens. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Ron. I'm not that worried about it because I know. Let me tell you, Ron, this might be a good discussion. So I would look at this way different if it was one of like a Hudson issue or even a Femi issue or something.
I know where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, I know that I can get a hold of DJI, and I know that they'll respond, and I know that they'll make it right. Where you may not have that kind of confidence with some of those other drones. And Ridgeflyer is saying reinstall, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, Ridgeflyer 32. I'm going to reset it back to factory specs and then reinstall the update. And I'm hoping that that'll do it. And I will. I want to add this, Ron. I did the update with the DJI Assistant 2. And the update went very, very smooth, start to finish, less than a half an hour.
Good. I mean, we pretty much found out. I mean, I went through it last week on 2 different live shows. You need to, you need to use the computer, the DJI, the Mavic Assistant app,
Assistant 2, yeah,
Assistant 2 app. You need to use the app, and also, it was recommended to do a system reset, which I don't know if it's necessary, but it couldn't hurt. And also, you need to make sure your device, the Smart Controller device, did not go to sleep during the update process.
Yeah, so I went to school on you, Ron. You had those issues, so I went ahead, and you can tell it to stay on for 30 minutes, which is what I did. Hey, I also want to mention, I see Ryan, RD's Drone Reviews, is in here. And he is working with DJI right now on a warranty issue on his Osmo Action. His Osmo Action started just spontaneously shutting off on him, and so I hope that he gets a quick resolution to that.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, right now I'm going to roll a little video here. We have a special guest coming in here. I'm going to roll a little bit of his video first, then we're going to bring him in.
Perfect. We got no sound.
This is a
Ron.
little live footage from SpinDown this weekend.
The audio is very low, Ron.
It actually was on his video. I think he's sitting outside in 45-mile-per-hour winds, so it's as good as you're going to do.
Yeah.
He's going to take off and fly. I just want to get to the point where he shows a little bit of a lake off. Here we go.
Yeah, that's a beautiful lake, isn't it? You know, how often have we seen Sean fly out there? That is really something.
Now, Art did mention there's some haze from the wildfires there, though, that take away some of the beauty. When Art gets on here, we're going to have to ask him if he had a chance to fish in that lake at all.
Yeah, so JSK Enterprise is saying no sound. So JSK, evidently it's an issue with the video itself.
It's just music playing now anyways, if you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
And by the way, I believe Art's flying. I believe he's flying the Mavic Air too.
Yeah.
So I think the hotel he stayed at was just, just a few feet from where he's flying here. So anyway,
yeah, that was pretty slick the way they did that. The hotel is right there, right next to where they're at.
They did it right.
Yeah.
Great hotel where I stayed. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. With no further ado here, let's bring Art in here with us. Art Carlson, welcome to the show. Art Carlson, all the way from the Mile High City in Denver, Colorado. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing much better. I was the altitude was kicking my butt up there, but I did pretty well. Just drank plenty of water and just paced myself well. Try not to overexert myself and get lightheaded and go pass out.
That wouldn't be good.
Now, Art, what is the altitude difference between Denver and Dillon? How is it a great difference?
Yes, it is. Denver is 5280, which is 1 mile.
Okay.
And Dillon is at 9,100 feet.
So even for you that way up, but that's a big deal. Just think of some flatlanders like me came up there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now, I want to did you drove up? You drove. Obviously, you drove. Right?
I rode with Tim, the 4-eyed canine.
Okay.
He's the guy with the basset hound.
Right.
In the video.
But you rode, so it's like an interstate highway that's easy to get there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great. And you arrived on what day?
We went up Friday evening, and it took us about an hour more to get up there because of road construction on the way up. But going back, it only took an hour to get back home.
Oh, well, that's really good. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
good. So you got there Friday night. Did you get there in time for that live stream that Kelly and
No, we just missed it. They were just about to close up his shop, and so we all met over at the Dam Brewery restaurant, and which wasn't very far from there. The food was phenomenal there.
What did you have to eat?
I had the butterfly shrimp, and they were huge.
Oh, jumbo shrimp.
They looked like kayak paddles. That's how big they were. Yeah.
Wow, they did it up right, huh? Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice.
Everybody else had buffalo burgers.
Oh yeah, but I've had the bison burgers out west before too. Wow, nice. Before I forget that beautiful lake out there, did you get a chance to do any fishing, or does it have fish?
Yes, sir. There's rainbow trout, and I think there's some lake trout out there.
Okay.
Didn't get a chance to fish. It was a little windy for fishing. Did see some kayakers out there before it got too windy, and we did see a few sailboats out there.
I saw the kites in your video.
Yep.
And folks, if you want to see the rest of Art's video, please go over to Arco Drone Solutions and go over there and watch it. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and then ring that bell, because Art's always posted something interesting over there. So I'll try to drop the link in the chat here before the end of the show to go see the rest of this video here. It's beautiful video, Art. Now, was I speaking correctly? You flew the Air 2?
Yeah, the Air 2, and this is in 1080p because I used the full zoom function on it.
Yeah.
To where I could get up to 4x.
4x
zoom on.
Don't you love that zoom feature since they
it's
the Air? Yeah.
Smooth on that. Where the Autel Evo, you can't really do it. You have to tap on the screen to do it in increments on the zoom feature.
Yeah, I love it on the Air where you could just use that scroll wheel and hold the function button.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great little drone. I'm glad to see you.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I know you were sad to lose your Air 1, but I bet you the Air 2's a kind of a nice step up, though, right?
Oh, I mean, both drones were a huge step up from the Air. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so Art, so you kind of touched on it a little bit. I've always been very curious about that Autel Evo. How could you comparing that with your Air? I mean, it's probably a whole level up, isn't it? Your original Mavic Air, I meant to say.
Oh, yeah. The Autel Evo was definitely a step up. You got 4K capability, I believe it. At least 30 frames per second, if not 60, but it has way more capability than the Mavic Air did.
How does it fly?
Well, if the Autel Evo flies great because the controller, the operating system is very similar to OcuSync. It's not Wi-Fi base, so that's definitely a step up. Plus, the controller has a small LED screen on there, so you can fly it without a phone.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So
now they've got the Smart Controller will work on the Mavic Air 2.
Right.
Correct. Mm-hmm. It's not an easy upgrade, but it is nice when you get it all the way upgraded. I'm gonna move you on here. Now, so you woke up Saturday morning. You got up early.
Yeah, well, I got up around 7 o'clock, and I think we went out to the pavilion around 9:30, and the whole shebang started at a little bit after 10 o'clock.
Now, how many attendees do you think were there this year?
I think we had close to 40 people there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You see some of the familiar faces we saw last year at Spin Up down in Austin. Good.
Yep. Chris Hope was there. Ten Toes was there.
Right.
And Sean.
I saw Michael right in your video or somebody's video.
I know Ten Toes was in one of my photos on Facebook, but Chris Hope was in a couple photos.
Right.
In this video, and probably in the video as well. And I have Ken Dono in there, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great.
Mm-hmm. So how's the weather in Jersey, Ron?
Well, we're starting to cool down a little bit, which is a good thing. It gets real hot here in like July and August, so it's
right.
Cool. Like today it was about 72, 73, and the sun was out. We had a little breeze blowing, so it kind of made it, a little breezy down by the ocean, but not bad at all. I'm not complaining, Art.
Right. So, well, today here in Denver, we were in the low to mid 60s here.
Oh, you're really cooling off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. and then we'll be back into the upper 70s, low 80s by the end of the week.
Now, how are the temperatures up in Dillon?
It did get up close to 75, but that was just for a short time, and then the clouds came in, and then the wind started kicking up where we had the 45-mile-an-hour gusts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't gusting like that when you were flying, was it?
No, it wasn't. No.
It's the best time of the year weather right now. We're in blue skies as far as we can see, and we're going to be in the high 70s here for a while. So, yeah, I mean, it's perfect drone weather. No wind. No, this is the time of year to fly.
Yep. That's right.
I mean, I saw in your video you had the smoke from the wildfires high in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. We've got another wildfire to the north of here in Larimer County that is now the third largest fire in state history.
Oh, it's a it's a shame. I hate to hear that.
Yep. And we had a fire earlier this summer that started in July that lasted over a month, and it turned out to be the largest fire in state history. It broke the previous record of I think 135,000 acres, and I think the new record, sadly, is about 140,000 acres.
You had extremely dry summer.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, or it's a shame because other parts of the country, got a lot of rain.
That's right.
Yeah, it's just a shame that the people that need the rain don't get it.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And if we get a lot of snow this winter, in the spring, we may get a lot of mudslides up in the mountains.
Sure, that's common.
Mm-hmm. Because all that vegetation got burned up, and that water, instead of being absorbed into the ground, is just, and there's no vegetation to slow it down. It's just going to slide right down.
Yeah, side of the mountain comes down. Yep.
Right. Now, back to spin up for a second. So did you have some like speakers or workshops, or what was the agenda like?
We had one speaker. I think his name was Jonathan Burke. He's a YouTuber. He's mostly into snowboarding, and he was a really good speaker, talking about how to make money on YouTube.
Yeah, now he's the guy that had he quit his job with at only 10,000 subs, and that really made him have to go and actually turn it into a living. Yeah, that's cool.
He's almost as successful as Marcus.
Well, he's struggling then, if that's the case.
But he's traveling all over the country and probably outside the country, just snowboarding and bringing great video from his experience.
That snowboarding kind of lends itself to good video, right? I mean, you see the way those guys do that. For one thing, it's not like skiing where you've got your hands on the poles. When they snowboard, they got their hands free so they can hold a pole camera or whatever. Mm-hmm. And some of Sean's videos with the 360 camera, they're just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the Skydio.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My snowboarding days are over, Art.
I haven't tried it. I've done cross-country skiing once, and I decided that's not for me. But I do skateboard, so I think snowboarding is probably not too much difference than that.
I guess so. Yeah.
I would have liked to try Sean's electric skateboard and see if I could handle that. That would have been cool.
Yeah. I hadn't been to skateboard since I was a teenager. Oh, We have another visitor here, another Spin Up alumni coming in here. It's all the way from East Texas. It's the great Chris Hope.
Where's he at?
Hey.
Oh, here. Oh, okay.
Chris, I always forget the name of your town.
I live in a little old town called Athens.
Athens. I've heard of Athens. There's one over in Greece too, I believe.
Yeah, Athens, Georgia. Great.
Georgia. So all the way from Athens, Texas, is the great Chris Hope. Just arrived home from Spin Up. I believe you made a long drive up there. Is that correct?
Yeah, I went up Thursday and spent the night in Amarillo, then finished it up Friday. Got in about 4 o'clock and hooked up with Brad Austin. Stayed with him, and me and him hung out together. And I got up 6 o'clock yesterday morning and drove home. Got home 10:30 last night.
You drove
cruise control on 80.
Between 75 and 80, Ron. 75 was the max I could find, but I get behind one of them cattle trucks running up the panhandle. 80 was nothing.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, is there's like an interstate or something you could take?
US Highway 287 is almost an interstate, but they still run through towns, and you still got to stop at a red light.
Yep.
Oh,
Did you go down through Dalhart and Duma and go through Amarillo?
I went by your old school, Art. Cal Foley's Boys Ranch. I went there. I stopped seeing when you went to school.
You must have been a tired man at some point, Chris.
Yesterday was last night. I was okay till I got to, because when I left Denver, a norther had blew in, and when I got to Boulder, it was pushing me and my pickup just back and forth, and I did that for about 600 miles. And wow. I got within 2 hours of the house, and it finally got calm. I finally outrun the norther. And
wow.
When I got up this morning, it was actually it had hit here sometime overnight, and it was quite pleasant.
So, Chris, I'm curious, what drone did you take with you? I presume probably the Phantom 4.
I carried the Phantom, and I carried the Mini, and I carried my little FPV drone. Of course, Art's probably already told you we had a gust of wind. The first gut was probably clocked at 100.
Whoa!
Oh, I don't know. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And then after that is what, Art? Every 10 to 20 minutes, there's a big, huge 40, 50 mile an hour gust would come through.
That's right.
So we kind of had. Art got there earlier than I did, so he got some great footage. I did a sunrise flight at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, and I got to fly over the lake for a battery. But I was expecting to go eat breakfast and go to the pavilion and BS with everybody for a little bit and then fly the lake. Negative. I couldn't get my drone more than 20 foot off the ground, and then here would come a gust of wind, and it would push it nearly down. Art saw it. Everybody had trouble. Some guys got there early enough; they got some good footage. But I just
didn't.
We got there early. The worm, right?
Sir,
the early bird catches the worm.
The early bird. Well, I was early. I just chose to go eat breakfast and get there about 10 o'clock. Art did good.
Breakfast is important,
especially when it involves biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy, boy, I'm telling you.
Chris, what hotel did you stay at?
We stayed at the Hampton Inn, and it had air conditioning on it.
Was it hot up there, Chris?
It was Friday. It's probably in the mid-80s, wasn't it, Art?
Yeah,
wow.
I think, yeah. Saturday is when they had the cool down, and I imagine yesterday got pretty darn cool up there.
Yeah.
Where did you stay, Art? At the Best Western?
Yeah, the Best Western, which is, you saw the video where there's where I stayed. Yeah.
And Sean had it in his video that he posted about a week ago. He had the Best Western there. So, but the Hampton Inn was close to the pavilion also, Chris?
Oh yeah, about a mile away. Yeah. We just hopped in the truck and drive down there. It was no big deal. Everything was right there. Sean did a great job, man. It's all right there, handy.
Right.
Did I hear you mention Sean?
There he is.
Hey,
right on cue.
What's up, man?
The Wizard of Oz.
I am tired. That's what's up.
I wonder why.
I kept going. Everybody left right after Saturday. Most people left. Sunday, I spent the whole day with the 4 guys that pretty much stayed. I drove them around. We did an escape room. I made Irvin think that he was going to die because I brought him on this mountain road with a cliff on the edge, and there was a trailer stuck on the side. And I just whizzed by in my car, no big deal. And the guys who were following me, they're from Texas. They never driven a mountain road like that. So I saw them just slam on their brakes, and I got out, and I'm like guiding them. And Irvin, he got out and was like, "Oh, great. Sean brings me down here, and he brings me to kill me." He's just tripping out, scared out of his mind. These guys were so scared. The guy's wife jumped out of the car and was like, "Don't you dare bring him through there." It was great. But they got some great flying there. It was pretty good. We did an escape room. So that's the VIP. If you stay late, you get to go like with me and do shit.
Well, we were talking to Chris about his travels, and I heard on the other show, on Lloyd's show, Chris, you had a little bit of trouble with the altitude up there. Is that correct?
Yeah, I felt like I had a drunk headache for 3 days. Sean said I didn't drink enough water, and I said, "My God, man, I had to pee every 10 minutes."
Yeah, it's drinking water and the oxygen, the low oxygen. So my blood levels show my oxygen normally at like 91, 92, and that's normal up here. You go down to sea level, it's 98 to 100, right?
Right.
So, they sell these little oxygen tanks that you can do that helps a lot with some of that.
Yeah.
Or you just start drinking, and then you won't know if your oxygen signals are buzzed.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
But Saturday, although it was pretty windy, I'd say we had this crazy windstorm come in, way windier than it usually is.
I was going to ask that, Sean. That's unusual. What happened Saturday? That the wind gusts.
That was crazy. I mean, we might get that a couple times in the fall that knocked the leaves off, but I mean that was really windy. It was crazy.
Well, we watched a sailboat lay over out there. You remember that?
That was entertaining.
Yeah.
The nice thing, it was warm Saturday. It wasn't actually cold. I think Art's the only one that thought it was cold. Everybody else, it was in the 70s on Saturday. So the winds weren't cold, super cold winds. Well, that's anywhere in Colorado, Art. If you know it's a dry state, if you get in the shade, it's always a little cooler than if you're in the sun. You get in the sun on a day that's 70, it actually feels like it's 85.
Yeah. Oh, so even here in Denver, we'll have it'll be 40 degrees down here, and with the sun, you're sweating out there if you're wearing a jacket because you're that much closer to the sun.
Right.
Yeah. So the UV rays are actually thinner up here, and from Denver to here, it's even more so. So if you got a day like it was, I think 30 something today, and I was running around in shorts. The wind had died, and the sun was out like crazy, and it was hot. And then the winds picked up a little bit today. Not anything like Saturday, but enough that being 30 with that wind, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go put some pants on. I got a little too cold. But it's weird. I can't explain it. Compared coming from somewhere like Houston where it's humid, you got a 40 degree day here and it's sunny versus a 40 degree day in Houston. Yeah. In Houston, you're wearing like 2 jackets at 40 degrees, and here you jeans and a t-shirt. It's as long as it's not windy. Right. If it's windy on top of it, and it's similar to that in Denver.
Yep.
It's kind of like being in Amarillo. It's 120. Oh, it's a dry heat.
Yeah. Although I never agreed with that dry heat thing. Man. Somebody says it's dry heat. Oh, it's just a dry heat. Yeah, I'm still burning. I'm still melting.
Negative. It's hot, man.
Yep.
Hey, was it you, Chris, that said it snowed a couple inches up on the mountains in Dillon, and you said if that was back in Dallas Fort Worth, those people would be going crazy, or they'd be wrecks.
People be freaking out. Schools canceled. The world come to an end with 2 inches of snow in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, that's how it was back in Houston too.
It was in Houston. Sean knows he lived down there.
Yeah, you even get an inch. It was weird though, Chris, because we would get black ice down there, and then very rarely would you see white ice on stuff.
Yeah, man. The last time somebody's asking me the last time I seen snow. My oldest granddaughter was born, and it probably snowed about 6 or 8 inches, and she's 11 now. So, because they come to the house and she couldn't get her car up the hill, because the government made them start putting them anti-slip brakes in it. She didn't know where the button was at, or the anti-slip tires.
Right.
So to make it positive track, you had to push a button so you get both of them turned at the same time. So I had to go down to the bottom of the hill and get her car to the house. After we got her and the baby up to the house.
Wow.
We don't get much. I don't get much snow here at all. Maybe a little ice. About every 10 or 15 years, we'll have an event.
Well, and it's interesting, Chris, because I was born in Dallas, and as a kid, there's all these pictures every winter of me playing in snow.
Really?
And then when we moved to Houston, now of course, Houston almost never gets snow. And lately, since I moved up here, they've gotten snow, and a little bit before, not much. I mean, it's snow, but it's not really snow. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing like they get down at even where Art is. I mean, Art gets snow too. Yeah. He gets probably the same amount of inches or close to it. Maybe not like the peaks, but he gets similar storms that I'll get. Sometimes they'll dump snow in Denver, and it won't make it over the mountains on I-70, and we won't get a drop up here. Mm-hmm. But the difference is here, once it comes November, it will stay in the grass and the bushes and the trees all the way until like April. Where Art is, 2 or 3 days later, the roads are melted off. If the sun comes out, the grass starts to melt away. It doesn't stay snowy on the grass the whole winter in Denver.
That's right.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, Sean, by all the reports I've seen, it sounds like SpinDown was a big success this year in Dillon, and I hope to see it come back next year because I want to come up there with my oxygen tank and a case of water and get in some of that fun. And I saw some of the I saw the bowling video today. You had some pretty good bowlers out there. Ken looked good, and of course Chris Hope. He looked like he should have been on the PBA tour there.
No, I was on the PBA cleanup crew. That's where I should have been. The guy with the broom pushing the oil down the lane.
Wasn't Roosevelt the star bowler?
Yeah, Rosie had his own ball. He was bummed he didn't bring his ball.
Oh, right.
So we were all like, "Oh, we got to watch out for Rosie." And then we all got 2 games. The first game, I'd get a strike almost every other frame. I got a strike or a spare, and then the next frame I'd gutter ball it, which makes the strike useless, 100% useless.
Yeah.
The second game, I kicked everybody's butt. I was just, I don't know what happened, but I was just so deliriously tired, and I was just getting lucky or whatever. But I think I got the top score of the night on that second game, and I made sure everybody knew.
I hadn't heard that one used. Deliriously tired. I'll have to remember that one.
Yeah, we'll have to write that down.
I'm gonna put that in my back pocket.
Yes, it's true, man.
What was wrong with you? Well, I was deliriously tired.
Hey, I wasn't drinking, Chris.
I know you would. I know you would.
This thing started for me way before you guys got up here. All week Thursday, I pretty much, when I was done with my appointments, I spent the rest of the evening cleaning the shop. Friday morning, I got back to the shop, sterilized it. Since it's a tattoo shop, I needed to give it all a killer wipe down everywhere, so that everybody could be safe in there and just hang out and have a good time without any worries of anything. I rearranged the furniture. I did all that. Then everybody started showing up Friday, and we did the live stream, and then we did the dinner, which I think was pretty nice.
It was good. Your shop is awesome, by the way. I'm not a tattoo guy, but when you walk into Sean's shop and look at the stuff, and y'all seen some of it on here, he is an artist. I'm telling you, you put a pencil in this guy's hand, he could probably draw the Mona Lisa. and there's probably some old gal running around with it on her shoulder somewhere.
I like to do more abstract-y stuff, but yeah, I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you.
Oh, it's the truth. I ain't building you up, man. It's God's honest truth.
Well, thanks. And then after Friday, I think then Dobo showed up, so I met him real quick on my way home. Saturday morning, I woke up like at 5 a.m. I had this wild idea I should bring some of these FPV guys to bring them up to a couple spots to fly, and it was really chilly up at the top at 12,000 feet. So we went up there, and then we came down and flew somewhere else by a river, and then I got over to SpinDown to the location so I could be there before everybody, and some people had already beat me there. And then I stayed there all day until about 4:30, 5 o'clock, helping people, doing demos, all that stuff. And then we went to eat at what was it called? Pug Ryan's. Yeah, that's where we went.
Pug Ryan.
And then after that, we went over to the bowling alley. And then after that, I think that was the night, and then we went home. And then the next morning, I met up with the people that stayed, Irvin, Zach, Zachary.
Irvin, Brad was there, it looked like.
Yeah, Brad was too. Yep, Irvin, Brad, and Zach, and then Zach's family. And so we did the escape room. We brought them, walked around Breckenridge. We brought them up to Cataract Point or Lake. And then we did, let's see, we flew around all that. And then we went to this place called the Mint, where you got this giant grill and you get to cook your own steaks. So we did that for dinner. And then today I went to the shop to start putting it back so I can go to work tomorrow, because I now got to rearrange all the furniture again. And Sully happened to drive up as I was just locking up the door. So I spent a couple hours hanging out and flying with Sully. And then I came home to start downloading footage and editing my version of the SpinDown video.
Yeah. Can't wait to see it. Anybody that watched Ken Dono's video when you guys were up flying FPV, I'm telling you, he must have said gorgeous and beautiful about 20 times.
And I don't know if you had the video, but I think it was on Facebook. He said he could retire up there. It was so beautiful.
It is pretty.
It's really expensive. So if you want to move to a mountain town and you don't snowboard, you don't ski, this is the wrong mountain town to move to.
Yeah.
What should cost $120,000 costs about $500,000 here for a house.
Yeah,
because of those ski resorts. There are plenty of other mountain towns without the ski resorts that are very similar, still close to like a major city like Denver, throughout the West Coast, as well as, scattered throughout America. That we actually researched and found some that it was still like an hour drive to a bigger city, but the pricing was very similar to what it would be in just any regular city that wasn't overpriced like it is here. Or Denver's overpriced too, to be honest.
Oh, Dre, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, it's I got to go with them in the afternoon. You went with them in the mornings and did FPV. Yeah, and I got to go with them in the afternoons. And I was looking at some footage before I got on the Lloyd show a while ago. I can see the drone, I can see it leave, and I know it's going up the mountain, but it's so small I can't see it with my Osmo Action. But dude, you can hear it, and that thing, the sound is incredible.
Yeah, it's a little scary, the sound on some of those bigger ones, huh?
Man, Sully and Ken took off together and went up, and both come down one time together. It was crazy, man. I've never seen anything like it. And
we had to actually ask them when they were flying to fly further away from that walking path, because you could tell it was freaking people out.
Yeah, there was a lady down there going.
Yeah,
Ken
saw that too, huh?
Ken said, "All right, it's all right. Keep going." Yeah, then the wind got us. The GPS guys had a hard time. Ken, it didn't seem the wind didn't. He said the wind doesn't bother them that much, but it bothered my bird. Didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
Really, the FPV drones can handle the wind better, huh?
Well, you got to think. So, Marcus, the FPV stuff is you point the drone where you want it, and it goes that way, like to the angle, right? So you angle it to where you want to angle it. And if you go here, it doesn't just flip over and fall. It doesn't have an emergency shut off like the DJI stuff. DJI, you fly in a high wind, and if it tilts too much, at some point, engine's cut off and it's falling.
Exactly. Yeah, mine was like this. A gust would hit it and it'd go like that.
Ooh.
And it would go down. Then it'd fight its way back up and it'd turn again. So it's
cool though to watch that, Chris, because it's impressive to me to see how the technology does that.
The camera, and the gimbal camera never moves.
Yeah,
you might see a little bit of twitch in the video, but that bird is sitting there like this, and that camera's still like that.
And I tell you, when they get rid of gimbals and they start doing like the image stabilization that's in like the GoPro Max and even the new GoPro 9, and they start getting that kind of technology in quads, it's going to be even more stable than a gimbal.
Yeah,
they're already more stable than a gimbal. I don't know why the next generation. I was actually surprised when the Air 2 came out and it had a gimbal.
Maybe we're one generation away from that, getting rid of the gimbals.
Possible.
Well, it'll get rid of a failing point right there. As soon as they get it in here, that's one less thing that can fail on you.
Right.
I'm sure it has to do probably with sensor size, etc. Right, because it takes a pretty big sensor to be able to handle that. So, but you're right. Probably the number of pixels.
A pretty small sensor in it.
Well, that's true.
Our drones,
Yeah.
Right.
But it's also the density of the pixels too. Am I wrong? I'm no engineer.
I just think they haven't done it yet for some reason. Yeah. I don't think there's a reason like that. I just don't think they've made that step for whatever reason.
Right.
Right.
Maybe they got a ton of gimbal tech that they just wanted. They've already paid money to make.
Right. Right.
If you look at the Air 2's gimbal, it's almost identical to the Osmo Pocket.
Yep. It sure does.
I'd like to see Ken fly down that river with that guy fishing it, John. You was there with him, right, when he did that in the morning?
In the morning, I was, yes. Yeah, that was a cool spot. I actually sent Sully over to that spot today after we were done hanging out. I said, hey, you might want to go to this spot over here and check it out.
Ah, cool.
How many people hung around, all day Sunday?
There was a few, but the only ones that wanted to go to the escape room were the 3 that I brought and his family. But I think there was at least another 3 to 5 that probably hung out.
Who came the farthest distance to SpinDown?
I'm not sure.
There was one guy from Florida that came.
Wow.
Sully was from Philadelphia or Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, it was either Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, something with a P. Yeah, Chris is right.
A couple guys from the West Coast. The two gentlemen I had never seen or heard of before. They come to SpinDown from California. 2 retired. One guy was retired from Coast Guard. Isn't that right, Sean?
I'm not sure. There was a few people that I met just for a second, and it's hard when you're hosting it to spend a quality amount of time with each person.
Right.
So, like Sully was actually one of the people that I wanted to try to spend a little more time with. He was very excited to meet me and stuff. And if somebody came to me like that, I tried really hard to give as much attention as I could to talk to them, get to know everybody. But I wasn't able to throughout the day Saturday, and it was sort of nice to see that he popped up today, and I was able to give him a little one-on-one.
He's cool dude. I got to visit with him, and
I know what y'all means. It's hard to when you were hosting. In fact, it was really cool at Spin Up in 2019. At the dinner at Sam's Boat on Friday night, Kelly went around to everybody's table and he had a conversation with everybody that night, even the wives and stuff like that, like Marcus and I was really impressed that he took time to go around and speak with everybody, even the wives and relatives.
And, that's how it feels. Like when I'm doing this is my first time hosting this many people ever, right? And believe it or not, I enjoyed this a lot more than doing that speech last year.
You were nervous on that speech last year.
Well, now I can tell you why. I tried explaining this. It wasn't getting up in front of the crowd, because I've been in bands in front of crowds a million times. It was having this speech memorized or not memorized was the problem, and knowing, okay, well, first I'm talking about this, and then I got to smoothly go into this and go into that to be able to make it line up with all these pictures that I have and little video clips. And then all of a sudden, the damn computer didn't work, and so I had to wing it, and that didn't make it better.
3x5 cards, Sean.
Was that
3x5 cards, Sean?
You didn't notice I had a whole stack of them on the thing next to me?
Oh, you did. Oh, okay.
Crib notes.
I quickly did as much as I could to transfer the notes.
There you go.
So maybe that's why it wasn't worse than it was. But
Sean, your presentation went very smooth. I mean, your presentation was awesome. But what I'm saying is, I could tell before your presentation you were kind of pacing around and so forth, and were nervous.
Yeah.
That's the point I was making.
Yeah.
Like I said,
you out in the hall when you were kind of nervous.
I didn't have it memorized.
Your presentation, nobody would have known. It was awesome. You were smooth.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, it was actually what I liked about it. Came off a little more natural than some of the other ones did. It felt more from your heart than from the computer cards or whatever.
That's probably because I wasn't reading off the notes.
Well, an example of that was the girl that was telling us about how to be successful on social media and stuff.
Instagram.
Oh yeah,
It was a canned presentation.
Yeah.
Right.
You could see that presentation 100 times.
Right. That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I definitely appreciate that. Hopefully I'll get to do another speech someday. Hopefully you guys enjoyed Jonathan's speech. I know it wasn't drone related.
Oh, he did a
But
good job
for
too.
those of you who are like really want to like think of YouTube as a way to make a living, if you take into consideration what he said, it's he nails it on that. The dude kills it with like thinking of it as a business, but in a business where people are fans and he reaches out to them, and because he makes them fans, they end up wanting support. You know, like and he's been able to. It blows my mind. That guy's been able to get a trailer, drive across the country. And he's in his 20s. You know, he pulled this off in his 20s. It's really impressive.
With a baby on the way.
Yeah. Well, he's got one baby already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like one, yeah.
Yeah. He's a good kid. I really enjoyed visiting with him.
Yeah. So I've got about, let's see, the video I'm editing, I'm about 3 minutes in on my edit. So, and I'm at a point where I've got to actually realize, crap, I was sort of all over the place, scattered. So now I actually need to go film more to be able to make it work. That's one of the things when you're putting together something like this. Well, one, as a host, you're scattered because you're doing all this stuff. So I started thinking about, well, how can I make this video, right? It's SpinDown, but like, cool. Like, how many people are actually interested in SpinDown? The 40 that went there, maybe another 100 or so, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's not enough. How do we reach more people? How do we reach more people so they can sort of see it too? And maybe they'll be interested next year. So there's an underlying theme in this video. Can you vlog with the GoPro 9?
There you go.
So that's my secret on this video, hoping that the algorithm pops it in front of people that are interested in vlogging with the GoPro 9. And then they'll see me talk about doing that as well as seeing all of us SpinDown.
You'll word that. You'll put GoPro in your title of your video, Sean?
Yep. It'd be basically what I just said. Can you vlog with the GoPro 9? And I'll probably put a dash SpinDown behind it. So just so the people know that's the people that were there will know that's the video.
Albuquerque Quadcopter said he posted, I guess, the video in his group, or his Facebook group for you.
Which video?
I don't know which video. If I'm behind the chat here.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure which video he's talking about.
He said he had it all posted on Albuquerque Quadcopter, but in any case, that's the Hero 9 is a hot topic right now, and that I can't wait to see that video, Sean.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, for most part, it's doing a pretty good job actually. For this is the first I've used it to do a vlog, and it's pretty damn similar to using the 7 or the 8 or any of those.
Sure.
I mean, the big difference is the battery lasts longer, and you got a front screen now. And it's more stable. But at some point, like, how much more stable can it get? I mean, it's got horizon lock now, which is nice because the GoPro Max has that. But to be able to get that wider field of view, you have to buy an additional lens for $99, which just sort of puts it right at the price of the Max. But you don't get that 360 feature. You do get the 4K and, well, now 5K, which most of us are never going to touch. But when you don't have that extra lens for $99, when you put it in horizon lock, it actually zooms in, crops in to linear mode, which is the super zoomed in kind of mode that the GoPro has.
I use linear mode most of the time, actually, Sean. When I'm vlogging, that is.
Yeah, I'll use linear and wide. And if I'm doing action stuff, I'll put it to the widest one I can do, which is super view or max view if you're on the Max.
Right.
Now, Sean, now that video that you just put out about the that feature on the Mavic Air 2 was just phenomenal. And I'm like, oh, I gotta use that feature.
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that, Art, because most of us, when we jump on and we do active track on the Air 2 or even some of these other DJI drones, this feature might be called something else on the Go 4, but you can totally do it. But on active track, most of us go on there and we select somebody, and then we see that the drone sort of just moves, right? And if that person's moving, it moves, but we don't think, oh, we can still fly it. You can fly it, and it will actually just stay focused on that. And so most of us will put it into the active because it says active track, push it, and then the drone starts moving with the object. But it is a killer way to get shots that would normally be pretty hard to do, or need two pilots, somebody controlling the camera and someone flying the drone.
It works way better on the Mavic Air 2 than it does on the Go 4 app. I've tried it with the Zoom, and you can make it work, but it's not quite the same. Sean,
Really?
I'd love to hear your take on that too. So I noticed, like, I would go into spotlight mode in Go 4 with the Mavic 2 Zoom, but the controls didn't work the same. And
Well, that's how it is on the Air 2 as well.
the Air 2,
The
it seemed
controls
like-
change as soon as you do it.
yeah, but it seemed more intuitive to me. That's just
So,
me. It was much
video
easier
that
for
I
me to
posted,
use on the
Yeah,
Air
if you
2.
saw that video, the shot of that abandoned mine was
Right.
actually on my Zoom. It wasn't on my Air 2. So I've got spotlight mode stuff. There's another feature, I think, with Zoom. The Zoom, I think it's called something else. Not course lock, but one of those other ones. So I've been thinking maybe I need to make a video in the Go 4 app showing the equivalent on how to do that, because I've never had a problem with it, Marcus. I on the Zoom it works pretty flawlessly for me.
Excellent. I'd love to see you that you do that video, Sean. That'd be
It's been
great.
a while, so I got to go reteach myself first.
Yeah. No, I tried. I put a video out on it a while back, and it works, but it just wasn't as intuitive to me as it was with the Air 2. The Air 2, it's just phenomenal. I mean, it's just so awesome to not have to worry about controlling that camera. You just fly the drone, and it'll keep whatever your POI is in center of frame, and you can do all those parallax shots and stuff that, let me tell you, a drone pilot like me would otherwise never be able to do.
I think that might be what it's called on the Go 4 app, is point of interest, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's not actually spotlight; it's point of interest.
Yeah, point of interest. Yeah.
So one of the things that I find, even with the Air 2, is once that gimbal is locked on, right, and if you're pushing forward on your stick, and the drone changes, right?
Right.
It angles to stay on it. So now forward keeps it going forward as this changes. So you have to think of yourself as soon as you start flying it this way. The drone forward is away from you, back is to you, left is to the side, right is to the right, and that's it. If you think of it any other way, if you try to fly it like you're sitting in it and you're turning and stuff, then it messes you all up. Right. You have to sort of relearn how the controls work with it in that mode.
Yeah, it's a great feature, and like I said, it really helps pilots like me that I don't.
You know what? I should probably do a better video. That one was so spur of the moment. I was just driving. Ooh, it's a pretty day, and there's some sailboats. I'm gonna go follow them. I happen to have my other camera with me, so I was like, I'll make a video. I'll share what I'm about to do. I didn't have any GoPro to record my controller very well. That's why I was like trying to hold the camera and show it. But that might be helpful for somebody to see a top-down view of what my sticks are doing, because it is a different way you fly it. And
you need a chest mount for your GoPro.
Yeah, I just didn't have it with me that day. I was just driving, and I was actually filming. I went and filmed the GoPro Max versus the GoPro 9, which is doing pretty good for me.
That's another good video. I enjoyed that one.
I'm getting a lot of positive response on that video, so I'm happy about that. But I just happened to finish that video, and I was driving home by the lake, which you saw, Chris, and you saw Art. And I was like, "Oh, look at all those sailboats!" I pulled over and it's like, "I'm gonna go fly."
So, did you also notice with the Mavic Air 2 that it recognizes that it's a boat and it puts a little boat icon? Is that cool or what?
I actually mentioned that in my video.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, look, it's a little boat. It can tell it's a sailboat."
Yeah.
Sean, I really like the comment you mentioned about me.
Oh, in the video?
Yeah.
You remind me, Art. I can't remember.
You were talking about, I was showing Art this feature about the map.
Okay.
Well, you know what happened about that.
Yeah. Well, I showed you how it works now. You see it now. Now you got to see it right. With no drones harmed in the making.
So that's another question, Sean. Did Art let you, for old time's sake, fly the Evo?
No, he didn't even bring it. He was probably afraid I'd take it back.
Evo.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
He was too afraid that Nobo was going to make him give it back to me.
I did bring the RoboMaster, but then I discovered that I had everything was all set up on a different phone, and the phone that I had was like, why is it asking me for password? I go, oh, it's all set up on a different phone.
I seen you got it out. I didn't know why you didn't run it. No.
Well, the truth, Chris, is he didn't run it because he was afraid I'd ask to drive it and it'd probably end up in the water.
Waterproof for it?
I almost lost it in the lake where Sean lost my drone.
Wasn't my
I was
fault.
like a foot away from the edge of the lake when I walked up there because it got stuck on some hay that was right along there, and it wouldn't move. It got stuck there, and then I walked up there, and I'm like, holy crap, if I would have gone another foot, and it's like a 1.5 foot drop from the top right into the water. I'm like, oh, woo,
That was close.
avoided that.
Hey, Ron Brown.
That was a beautiful lake that you and Sean flew at in Colorado this summer.
Yep. Yeah, that's Lake Arbor. That's about 1/2 mile from my house. And I do a lot of fishing there, catch a lot of really big carp out there.
Hey, Ron, we've got a pretty distinguished panel here. Do you think this would be a good time to talk about all the speculation around the potential of a Mavic Mini with 4K video?
Well, we did get some, both Drone DJ and High Kessler last week brought out reports of a Mavic Mini 2 possibly arriving before the holidays this year. I know we have Chris Hope, who basically invented the Mavic Mini. He did a live unboxing on DroneNation almost a year ago when he was one of the first people to receive it. Chris, do you believe any of these rumors about a Mavic Mini 2 coming out already?
Well, you might as well. Did Osita post anything on Twitter yet? That's where I'd hang my hat.
Well, so what they said was, and this is coming from High Kessler and Drone XL, so it's not like it's just some crazy thing that
you can grab it and pull it in.
Yeah, but evidently Frank Wang is not happy with the video from the Mavic Mini, which I think looks awesome for 2.7K. Anyway, that's the rumor.
Frank's got high standards, Marcus.
Yeah.
Like Sean said, 5K. Who's going to watch 5K? Most people don't watch 4K.
Right.
I know.
It's hard to edit 4K. It's hard to edit 2.7K.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. I guess they just like to say that they just like to say that spec 4K.
5K, 8K. Let's go up 20K. Man, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I would personally rather see other features instead of upping the K. I could care less about the K. I'm not a K.
A bigger sensor, Sean.
I'd rather see a 1080 with a bigger sensor. I'd rather see it throw a couple of sensors on it. Like at least some front-facing ones.
A little wider field of view would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Not most of it. Something with the camera.
My bank account.
Longer battery.
A little stronger motors for the wind.
So then that pushes it up over you. Then you have to register it. Okay. Did they say anything about the Mavic Mini 2 having to register it? Or are they trying to keep it below that gram weight?
That's a good point. They make it above it. That's sort of a bust.
Below that 250 grams. So that probably means mostly camera type of upgrades. Because somebody said putting a little bit bigger sensor and it probably won't change the wave too much. Personally, I'm not so much about the video, but I like to see the photo thing. Right now, all I can do is take a JPEG photo and not do anything. I like to see it take a DNG. I wish you could take bracketed photos. I wish it make it more into a real camera rather than just a push button JPEG camera.
Before I go real quick, I have to split, guys, because I got 10 minutes till I start my own live stream.
Yeah,
okay, Sean.
I don't have a guest or anything. So
everybody
somebody who was at SpinDown wants to come in partly in the show, let me know. Shoot me an email on Facebook, and I'll send you a link so we can talk a little bit.
Great,
But,
folks. Everybody in here in 10 minutes, go over to Sean's channel and jump on there and just have a good time. Ask all the questions that we forgot to answer here for your ask here. And I want to thank Sean for coming on. He's been very busy, had a tough weekend. He's tired. He's going to the street tonight. So I really appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you, Sean.
Mel just said, Sean, wait. You're going to have to catch me in 10 minutes on my channel, Mel. I got to go. Got to have a bathroom break before I start my own. All right, guys.
See you, Sean.
See you later.
Take care,
Thanks for
Sean.
having me.
And Ron, I got to split too because I got to get ready for bed and get up about 3:30 in the morning.
Understood, Art. Thank you so much for coming on and letting us play your video a little bit. And we will see you on the next one.
Okay.
See you,
Take
buddy.
care.
Good night.
See you, Art.
Goodbye. Good night, everybody in the chat.
Good night.
And I got somebody else who wants to jump in here for a minute. I think he wanted to talk to Sean, but Sean left, but we'll get him in here anyways. We have the famous Mel 400 AGL spin up 2019 alumni member. How are you?
Yeah,
Mel?
and 18. Doing well, Ron. Thank you, Marcus. Hello, Chris. Hello
How you
again.
doing?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, while you guys were on the topic where Sean was talking about the active track with the drones,
Yes.
okay, that's something relatively new that he's discovered recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently. If I may share something, may I share something?
You go ahead.
Select window. I think it's screen one. Nope. How
Screen.
about screen two? Yes. I'm going to share screen two. And
Okay.
then I'm going to put a video up. So let me know when you can see it because it encompasses my entire screen.
We got it.
We got
You
it.
can see
It's
the
a
video?
walking on a sidewalk.
Okay. This is Spin Up Day 2, aka Spin Down, from 2018 Spin Up at the ballpark,
Okay.
flying my Mavic 2 Zoom.
Okay.
That's Jenna C on the skateboard. I am active tracking her because she came down the sidewalk quite a way. So I'm active tracking her, panning the right stick to the right with the drone. So I was doing that 2 years ago. Just thought I'd throw that out there for everybody.
You make a good point, Mel. Until the Mavic Air 2 came out, I didn't know that feature existed. So you make a very good point.
Well, I did it with the Phantom 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just like putting your finger on the tablet or phone when you're filming and move the camera around with your fingertip. Press and hold on the screen on your mobile device. Move your camera around. I think I was the first one 2-3 years ago that showed that to everybody.
Yeah.
But Active Track goes all the way back to the Phantom series. That's I had no
Was it
idea
Phantom that
about.
did Active Track?
Mine does it. I don't use it. I used it one time.
Yeah.
The one time I did use it, I went from when it active tracks, the elevation of the drone doesn't change. Okay, so I had 100-foot probably elevation change. And by the time it got to me, it was about 15 foot over my head.
Yeah.
Going up a hill.
I don't remember if it was I might have misspoke on the Phantom, but
No,
I know
you
that,
didn't misspoke.
I know that every drone that I've had that has active track, while it's doing active track, if it's following you, if you move the stick to the right or left, it will swing out sideways to the right or left, and you have to control the speed with the stick as to how fast it moves to make sure it stays parallel to you. But yeah, you can pan that. Been doing it for a couple of years.
They just recently added that to the Fly app. That's the difference. It's been in the Go app. It just hadn't been in the Fly app to just what, Marcus, a month ago maybe.
No.
Are you sure you couldn't do it? I mean, a lot of people don't even know that you can do it.
Spotlight mode has been on the Fly app since the Mavic Air 2 came out,
Yeah.
Chris. Yeah. And what I'll say that the Mavic Air 2 added to that equation was simplicity. because all you have to do is touch the screen to put it in spotlight mode. It's very, very easy.
Is that what they call active track? Is spotlight? Because I
Well,
don't have an Air 2.
well, it's they call it focus. They got a whole nomenclature.
It's part of the spot. It's
It's
part of
called focus track. So you go into focus track, and there's several different functions.
So when we
Spotlight
just
mode
get,
is one of them.
we get used to the lingo, they change it on us.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
exactly
Teach us
right.
a whole new language.
Yeah.
Is that what they're? Oh my
But,
god!
but
Yeah.
one of the improvements that I think is cool about the Fly app is, in order to bring that up, instead of having to go into a menu and look for it, you simply touch the screen, and it will bring it up for you. So,
Okay.
if you draw the square around something, then it brings up that little menu at the bottom, and it just makes it a little bit simpler. That's all.
Okay. With the press and hold on the screen to move the camera around, that's good in any drone, I think.
Right,
As far
I
as
believe
DJI
so,
is concerned. I was using that with my Inspires 4 years ago, and people didn't even know you could do it. I was like, I thought this was normal knowledge, I mean, I'm just a dummy, and I knew it, I mean,
Yeah, they got.
but yeah,
I got 4 different apps on my phone for DJI: the Action, the Pocket, the Memo app, Fly app,
Go for
Go4 app. It's overwhelming, and the terminology from one app to the other app does not change. It changes.
yeah, they do have some changes, and I'll give you one more. Do you have the Smart Controller? I know, Marcus,
Negative.
you do, right?
I do. It's not working worth a damn, Mel, but
Why?
ever since I did the update, it freezes up, locks up. So on both the Go4 and the Fly app. So I'm going to go back, reset it to factory parameters, do the
Start
update
over.
again, and see what happens. And if that doesn't work, I'll get a hold of DJI.
Yeah, I've not had any trouble with mine. In fact, I just recently added the DJI Pilot app. Because
I've heard of the Pilot app. What is that?
That's
Well,
the dumbed down one, right? It's just a simple.
No. Is it called the Pilot?
I believe you're right. I've heard of it, but I don't know what
the
it's
Pilot app is for the commercial drones,
Oh,
like to fly the M210 and stuff like that. That uses the DJI Pilot app. So the Smart Controller will now use the Pilot app to use the commercial features flying your Mavic 2 Pro and Mavic 2 Zoom. You don't have to have a commercial drone.
Oh, that'd be great.
You can actually use the commercial app to do the commercial stuff that the big heavy lifters can do now.
you mean as far as things like mapping and so on, Mel?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did I misunderstand? Because I thought for a while back, they came out with an app that was strictly for manual flying. It had none of the intelligent features. It was just a kind of a slimmed down version of the app. Now, I may have misunderstood, Mel, and it could have been the Pilot app they were talking about.
No, the Pilot app is the app that the guys use for the M210s and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know of any DJI app that they've dumbed down, so to speak.
The fly app is the dumbed down app.
Yeah, Fly app for dummies.
Well, the Fly app's the one you use for the Mavic Mini, right?
and the Air 2.
The Air 2.
And the Air 2. Okay. Well, I just flew the Mavic Mini for the first time the other day, and I did some just stupid little video seeing how close I could get to a big tree that fell over out front here in front of the neighbor's house. Big chunk of the tree broke off and fell down, missed everybody's car. So there was no real good action there, but I got that thing pretty close to them tree branches and things. And then yesterday I was doing a manual plot search for a drone in a field. And you know how you can like set, like you would mapping, you set the route to get a certain area mapped, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did that manually with the Mavic 2 Pro, and somewhere I'm looking for, because I thought I'd show you the picture. Yeah, right here. I got this photograph. Let's see, let's open it with photos and make it easier. Now I got to move it over here, share this again. But I did this all manually with the Mavic 2 Pro with the Smart Controller. So that's basically the same thing as flying a mapping route.
Oh.
But I did it all manually.
Oh, wow.
That was kind of interesting. I burned 4 batteries doing that. But
you had to go back and forth a lot of times, huh?
Yeah. And that's a total distance from the buildings over here in the bottom right corner to the corner of the road is probably 200 yards, maybe, in real life. And yeah, so that was all in tripod mode at 1.5 miles an hour. So now you know why just that little bit of area took 4 batteries to get done. But,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that's with the pilot app you just described.
No, that was with the Go4 app and the
Go4 app.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was just manual flying a mapping route. Because I was searching for a drone, so I had the camera pointed straight down. And in tripod mode, so I had all my sensors, because I'm not looking at the drone. It's over an open field, right? There's nothing there. 3-foot tall grass.
Right.
So, and then at one point, I get the forward sensor alert, right? The drone stops, and I'm like, what in the hell? It's grass. I bring the camera up, and there's 2 great big fat power lines right there.
Oh.
So it
actually saw the lines.
It saw the power lines, and it stopped.
Wow.
In tripod.
That's good,
mode,
man. That's good.
Mode.
That's real good.
But see, in tripod mode, it's supposed to be able to see twigs and tree branches and things down to a 1/2 inch. So it ought to see power lines at that point.
Right.
But
the question is, did you find the drone you were looking for?
No, I did not.
Okay.
That's what really kind of sucked. Was one of the AMA members of the field. That's where that was our AMA field, and he had a quad go down out in that field. And when you asked him, do you know where it went? He said, yeah, out in that field.
It's right over there.
Yeah. Well, they I guess a bunch of them, 4 or 5 of them, tromped around in them weeds out there for probably an hour and didn't find it. So I thought, well, maybe I can find it. Maybe. You never know. So, yeah. Anyway, that was kind of interesting.
It was.
But I just was going to show Sean that video of Jenna, and I was actually, that's what took me so long to get my request to come. May I come in for a minute? Because I've got that same kind of footage for a long distance filming Sean riding the skateboard. And I was active track side flying the drone, keeping up with him. So I was like, Sean, dude, that's 2 years old stuff here, man. Come on, you can do better than that. But yeah, but it's a handy thing to be able to do. And also, like with the Mavic Mini, and I think the Mavic 2 series, if you put them in other modes, like the Helix, the oblong coil thing, whatever. I don't use all those. If I want something, I fly it. But if you're on, say, a 4-wheeler or something, and you put it in that mode, and then you start moving, the drone will adjust its course to. It'll still do that, the track it's supposed to, but it'll keep you. It'll move with you, in other words, and keep you centered in the shot as if you were sitting still. So that's kind of cool. And a lot of people don't realize that. Yeah.
That's a good shot.
So they'll do a lot more things than what what most people are aware of, because they think, well, I'll just do this and the drone will do that. They don't realize that if they move 200 yards while the drone's doing that, it'll follow them and still do it. You know, it'll still do what you told it to do.
Well, all I know is some of that stuff really helps a hack like me that can't, you know, scroll the camera and work the sticks all at the same time. I struggle with some of those parallax moves and stuff, and things like spotlight mode even make somebody like me look good. So,
well, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, using active track and then moving the drone around to get the shot that I wanted of Sean on the skateboard. I mean, yeah, no brainer.
Yeah.
If you can use the tools to help you get what you want, go for it. I'm all about it.
Yep.
You know, I'm no good at rotating, panning, changing elevation, and moving the camera all at the same time. You know, I have a hard time counting to 10. You know?
Well, there's people that are. I mean, I look at like Mike DeCurcio, Philly Drone Life. It's just amazing watching him try. Like he'll go out and track boats on the river and stuff, and it's all manual. And I try, and when I see him do it, I try and think in my head, okay, how are those sticks moving, and how is he moving that camera to do it? And you got it. It's stunning. I mean, and he does it all manual. It's amazing.
Well, and it's if you do it and practice it, you can get pretty good at it. I'm getting to where I can take the drone and manually fly it on a course and rotate it with yaw 360 degrees and not change course. You know, because as you're flying, and if you start yawing to the right, well, the drone wants to go to the right.
Right.
So you have to pitch it to the left.
Right.
Just the right amount. And by the time you get 90 degrees, now you're in full pitch left and full yaw right. And then you start getting it around to where it's moving backwards. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and I'm not dumb enough to tell anybody that I can actually do that, but I understand the theory of it. And when I see people do it, I'm in my head, I'm thinking about how those sticks are moving to make that happen.
And that's the best way to start. Once you start thinking about it,
yeah,
you can do it.
Yeah.
Just do it moving slow, and then, you know, put it in tripod mode and or cinematic mode, depending on what drone you're flying, and just do it and watch your screen and watch the drone and see what direction it's going. And if it tries to change course, then adjust your stick movement accordingly, and before you know it, you'll be doing it in sport mode.
There you go.
You know,
and it's almost like what I've done. FPV flying is kind of like that as well. You're pushing and twisting two controls at the same time to try to keep a tree in the center to go around it.
Yep.
I can see that relating to what you're talking about. When I try to orbit a boat out in the middle of the lake on Sunday mornings, same scenario.
Same thing.
For me, it is
moving. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, you want to stay in. You want center frame. You want to roll around. So you have to pitch and roll at the same time, and you're using all three axes there, trying to do one thing.
And if you want to stay a little bit ahead of the boat so that you can actually come around the front of it instead of over the top of it, well, now you got to add in even more, because now you got to
be backing away,
double the speed of the boat, be backing away from it.
Yeah. Okay, but let alone controlling the gimbal and what that camera's pointing at. So that's the other.
It's 4.
Yeah. I mean, it gets crazy, and that's
where that finger comes in handy.
There you go. Yeah.
And then you get 5 because you have to do with your tongue part, right? You got to get
right.
But
that's the one thing. Talk about FPV a minute. When I started flying the Tiny Hawk 2 about a month ago, 6 weeks ago now, probably, I see what they talk about. Some of the GPS stuff when you're trying to do some active track manually relates to the FPV. So that part is, I guess maybe I picked that up a little quick. I didn't have to fight it as bad.
Yeah.
But
because you're used to trying to keep the subject in the center of
in
your
the
frame.
center of the frame, yeah.
Yeah.
And it clicked when I finally figured it out.
Yep.
How's your FPV flying coming along, Chris?
I had to buy another drone because when I hit the tree limb, it rolled into a puddle about the size of a bathtub.
Oh,
And
that's not good.
And it shorted it out. So I got another one.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, it took me a few days to finally figure it out to get I call it a program, but they don't call it that, and they call it a SLI file or something. I got that all figured out the other night, and then at SpinDown, Doc Murdoch, me and him, he put on a beta flight school. And,
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so me and him sat down for a little bit, and we tweaked mine a little bit. I said, I need to turn a little faster because it don't turn fast enough, and that's what got me in trouble with the tree. I was turning it, and it hit that limb. So I got too busy today. I'll get back on it this week, start flying again.
You'll have to train the rest of us then, Chris.
Negative. I'm not a teacher.
Well, thanks for letting me come in, guys.
Thanks.
I just wanted to show that video, and it's really kind of mute since Sean had to leave. But
he hurried out, but I still wanted you still made a good point that everybody has the older Mavic series, Mavic 2 series. You have these features also. It's not just for the Air. So that's good information, Mel.
Yeah, it's been around a long time.
Yeah. And we'll wrap this whole show up because we want to let everybody in here have a chance to go over and catch Sean's live show on Sean Oz's channel over on YouTube. So everybody jump over there and check out his show, and we will be back next Monday with another big show. And I'll go around the room. Mel, anything final words before you bid a good night?
Mama always told me be real polite and say good night to everybody when you leave a room. So Mr. Chris and Mr. Marcus and Mr. Ron, y'all have a good evening. I'm gonna go have a cup of coffee with Miss Jenny now.
Good night, Mel.
Great impersonation. Chris, any final thoughts on SpinDown or anything in general?
Oh no, man, SpinDown was a hoot, and if we do it again there, I am definitely taking. Instead of 2 days vacation, I'll be taking probably 3 or 4.
Well, we'll see you there next year, Chris.
Yeah. There's a bunch of you guys missed.
Buy me a couple oxygen tanks before I get there.
Well, they sell them at the motel. I didn't realize that till Brad told me about it the last day I was there. He said, man, they got oxygen bottles down there. I said, I think I need one.
Well, yeah, when we're looking for me next year, just come down to where the guy's selling the oxygen and you'll find me.
And run your hose to your room.
Yeah. But we appreciate you coming on here.
Oh,
today.
thank y'all for having me. I enjoyed y'all.
Double shows. And you just got back from SpinDown, so I suppose you could use a good night's sleep here.
Yeah, I'll get one, and I'll get up in the morning at 5 o'clock and go back to work.
There you go.
Thanks, guys.
Good night, Chris.
Good night, everybody in chat.
Good night. Marcus, any final thoughts? Sorry, folks, we didn't get to cover all the ground I wanted to cover tonight. We had the SpinDown people came in quicker than I thought, but we'll give you a complete show next week. But Marcus, you have any final thoughts for tonight?
Yeah, no. So we can talk about some of that other stuff next week, Ron. As you know, I've been messing around with some of the bargain price drones and so forth, and some of them are better than others. So we can talk about that a little bit, and maybe get into more depth on the Smart Controller, and maybe talk about this wireless microphone system that I have kind of stumbled onto, and so far so good. Seems to work pretty good. So, and by the way, Ron, today, in fact, it's sitting on my front porch right now. I got the media mod for the Hero 9, so maybe we can get into that a little bit too.
We'll have a packed show next week, so we'll be back to normal next week. We just wanted to really shout these SpinDown guys up. Sean did a great job out there in Colorado, and everybody should, if they're going to do another one next year, everybody should think about attending, that's able to attend. And because I think Marcus and I were both at Spin Up last year, and it really is an experience. We both really enjoyed it. So, looking forward to seeing all Marcus do goodies next week. And I just dropped a video today with my first flight with the Smart Controller with the Mavic Air 2 at sunset down by the bay. Everything went smooth. I had a good flight. I kind of walk you through a lot of the process. So, you know, I don't have a link handy, but just go over to my channel. Check it out if you're interested at all in either the Smart Controller or the Mavic Air 2.
Ron, I'm gonna put a link for it right now.
Thank you.
And Ron's video.
And Marcus has a new one up on the X12, right?
Yeah,
It's one of the contenders for best budget price drone.
yeah.
We'll be more on that next week, folks.
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody. Have a good evening. Don't forget to Bill the Drone Reviewer tomorrow night at 8 p.m. and the Philly and Ron show at 9. And then don't forget the Drone Therapy on Wednesday nights at 8:30. Bill and I are going to do a channel shout-out show. So if you want to get your channel shout out in the show, we'll try to get you some additional subscribers to stop on by. And, you know, we'll definitely try to hook you up. And then don't forget Arco Drone Solutions Saturdays at I think it's what time is it? It's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, I think it is about 6 p.m. my time. 5 p.m. my time.
I think it's 7 my time. And don't forget the International Drone Seekers on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Marcus, Jackie. Help me out.
Yeah. We got Terry and Steve.
Terry and Steve.
And Kev should be coming back too. So there it is. Sarah brought it up to me, Ron.
Hand delivered the media mod for the Hero 9.
Yeah.
So there you go. If you want to become a professional vlogger like Marcus, once you get that media mod, you're kind of all set there. And then don't forget Lord the Grumpy Vlogger on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget Mel, Fortnite Joe, who's just on here. He does a live show Sunday nights, I think 6 p.m. my time. I'm not
sure either, Ron.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7, something my time. So did I miss anybody's show? I mean, I know there's hundreds of shows, but I hit most of them, right?
I think we got them all.
Yeah. So good night, folks. Have a good week, and we will see you back here next week. It's going to be a big week.
Going to be a humdinger.
Yeah. Marcus said it.